Guys, it's a known fact. In 2025, we're having a crisis of competency. It's not just that people don't want to work. It's that they don't feel like the sort of requirements of work are fair. So to put it in perspective, like, businesses don't think it's fair either. So the workers don't think it's fair that a business won't pay you $25 an hour when you have no skill. Businesses don't think it's fair that the government requires you to have an exhaustive, list of things for every worker that costs all this money, right? But then people just make this assumption as the worker that everything is going to be provided to them. So like everything in their life is going to be taken care of by this one source. And the problem with this philosophy and idea is that there's only one single source. It's God. All the other sources are kind of less sufficient, right? The government is pretty good. They take tax money and they use it to help the people, but they're just decent. They're okay. They make a lot of mistakes. Businesses are just people. A business can't be your one source, right? You have to have resourcefulness in yourself as a worker, because your job is, people want to have security, but no job is really guaranteed. And I think everybody's sort of begun to have that attitude of non-permanence with work, when there used to be a time when people wanted to have an attitude of permanence around work, but that was the aftermath of the era when people really worked for themselves. So there was more of a sense of permanence around your profession because you would generally work for yourself. And so then the attitude of permanence carried over to their careers when more and more people started working for a company. And now, of course, the companies have proven that they're non-loyal to their workers. And so the workers really are just returning that in kind. And I don't know who started it. It's kind of a chicken or the egg scenario. But at the end of the day, competent people who reach a certain level, they understand their industry, they're more likely to go into their own business. And if they don't really want to deal with the struggles and requirements of being a business owner, then they'll just fish around for a good job. And they know companies want to hire in a sense, if you're a skilled worker, it's the workers market. You can kind of go to another company, and as long as you're good and you know how to do the work. But the problem is that it's kind of like dating around in a way. Something happens to you when you switch too many times. And I think something has happened to these people, man. I really think that's what it is. Something they're like a girl that's had too many boyfriends, There's less and less likelihood of that person sticking for the long haul. And who's the same? Who's always kind of been the same, had the same goals? Business. Business wants stability. But businesses have to be willing to offer what people want. And I get life is hard right now, and we want to say one party is to blame, or the manosphere will sometimes make it like women are really to blame, but men are to blame too. And we want to blame the government. It's not just the government, and it's not just the businesses, it's not just the workers. It's a shared responsibility, and ultimately each person individually has to make decisions that are right. And we really have a society where people are encouraged that make a decision that's right for you. Don't worry about what's right for someone else. And that philosophy is flawed in itself. It's tainted by evil, because selfishness or only loving yourself, it's all based out of a flawed. It's either pride or really, I guess pride at the heart of it, which is a very hated vice. It's the worst vice, and it really leads us down a path of just destroying our whole society. And on an individual basis, you have to be able to say, I'm going to do right because it is right, not because it benefits me. And I think that's at the heart of it all. There, I just summed it up. There's nothing more to say. Do the right thing because it's right, and the world will change. Others will see. You've heard this term, pay it forward. If you're that guy in the drive-thru that doesn't want to pay for the mother of 6, I get it. Cool. No problem. Credit the money that you were going to pay for your meal towards the mother of 6, and she'll be grateful. You know? Pay it forward. Do your best. And you got to try not to pay forward the bad stuff. In a way, like, you got to be a filter. Some people filter the good and leave the bad, you know? So there's some bad people out here. I think you're encouraged to be as much of a bad person as you want to be in our culture. Anyway, that sums it up, guys. I hope this video helps. We need to see a real cultural change. Society is only going to continue to degrade, and the government can't save you. The change has to happen on the individual level. Be a part of the change that you want to see in the world. Don't make it somebody else's problem. It's not. It's yours. Start by solving somebody else's problem for them. By you. Because you could be their problem. Solve that. Be better. And God will bless you, and you'll see life will change, and it'll happen a little at a time. But these things can explode and become major cultural movements. And maybe we can see that in our lifetimes. I have the utmost hope for such a change. The church calls it revival. I don't like to call it that. I don't think people understand what that means anymore. I think they've forgotten. They understand like the way the history books tell it or the way the scholars tell it, but they don't understand it on the ground the way it actually took place. So anyways, you guys have a great day, okay? I wish you all the best. Make the right decisions.